Although she isn't technically in a 9 to 5 anymore, she does have career women across the country wrapped around her finger. Let's break it down. When we have a look through her LinkedIn, this woman hasn't really kept a same job title for more than like a year and a half, but not in a bad way. She has had promotion after promotion, climbed the ladder with 8 advancements in 10 years. So I feel like she has got some type of secret sauce that I just need to know. On her socials, she doesn't really hold back. She's very raw. She is honest, sometimes brutally honest, talking about career progression, burnout, and sucky managers to her almost 40,000 followers. I feel like everyone talks about branding online and like influencery type stuff, but I am really interested in building a personal brand in a work context.
Get ready.
Oh my God, it's so good to see you.
I'm so ready for this chat.
All right, are we ready?
Go, okay.
I'm cordially invited.
You're cordially invited.
Well, you're cordially invited.
So good.
Everything.
I got you exactly.
You're cordially invited.
Cordially invited. You are cordially invited.
I live here now.
I'm Ashley Paholic, and this is Cordially Invited. Kim Elizabeth James, it is so lovely to see you.
Thank you for having me.
When people see you in real life, is there a difference? Like, are they surprised after seeing you online via like meeting you in real life?
No, I reckon I'm the same person.
You reckon?
I do. I actually have this conversation with people quite often where they say they get worried that people in person are a bit like underwhelmed of who they are as well. They meet them and they're like, oh my God, you're not who you are online.
Really? Who's
yeah.
saying that though? That's savage.
I know. But no, I think I'm the same. I would love to be a more polished version of myself online, but unfortunately, like, a bit of the bogan comes out, if I'm honest.
But I feel like that's what makes you you.
Thank you.
Like, that's what like draws people. That's not savage. That's the truth. Like,
No, it is.
you are very much who you are online. I think the only thing that people say to me
Yeah.
is that I'm shorter in real life.
You are shorter. Yeah, maybe I'm taller. I mean, to be fair, I had to change my dating profile to say I'm 5'11" because apparently on Hinge I couldn't possibly be 5'7" because I look much bigger than that, was what I've been told. So I commonly get men in person being like, oh, you're tall. So now I just changed it to 5'11" to pretend that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a problem with a short king, but I have a problem with a short king with a complex.
Yeah, who can't like accept that
Yeah.
you're not 5'11".
No, exactly.
They're lying, not you.
Yeah. Maybe my attitude. I'm like, 5'7's not tall.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm 5'3" with an attitude.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to talk to you about personal branding because I think in this day and age, everyone talks about, you know, having to have a persona online and having to have, like, show up a certain way and be posting. But the thing is, like, being an influencer, being online is not for everyone. No. And it's not the be all and end all. Honestly, like, what do you think is the difference between, like, personal branding and, like, in real life branding?
Well, personal branding should be all of it, realistically. I think we've gotten to a point where we're talking about personal branding as like how you're showing up on LinkedIn or on a social platform, but realistically, personal branding is how you carry yourself, how you lead yourself. Like, from what we're looking now on online personal brand, it will open up doors for you that didn't exist before, whereas your resume, on the other hand, is like proving that you can actually walk the walk that you're talking as well. So I do say to people that your personal brand is all aspects of you as well. But having a personal brand online as a woman in their career, it can open doors because people will then either go, I love to meet you and I want to introduce you to someone, or they go, we have this role coming up, and someone's going to go, oh, I remember I saw that person, I love what they talk about on LinkedIn or TikTok, and it will actually open those doors for you. So we're actually seeing more and more women that as the traditional roles to enter into markets are changing, that having a personal brand online can actually fast track you to get into roles that before you wouldn't have got in with a minimum of like 3 years experience. They're getting in with 1.
So are you saying that we all need to be posting online?
I say that realistically.
Because this is scaring me. If that's the reality.
I don't think we all do. I think it really comes down to what your career what your career aspirations are, if I'm being honest. Like, I will never tell someone that everyone has to have the same career. It's just like how now I run a company, but I will never tell people to quit your 9 to 5 because...
Same. It's not actually that good.
The bane of my existence is people that are like, oh, quit your job, you get more freedom. I only work 3 hours a day. No. Yesterday I left the office to go home and work late and eat fish fingers. Like, That
Yum.
was my Friday night.
Yeah.
And it really comes down to what career you want to have and the aspirations that you need. For some industries, you don't need to be posting online. Also, for some industries, you can't post online about what you do.
Yes. So when we're not posting online, how can you build a personal brand in real life?
Yeah. And the biggest part of that is where you are in either an organization or the workplace, it's the right people knowing who you are and
Yes.
not only relying on your work to prove and show what you can do.
Yes.
It's more about the awareness, and as you would very much know, it's the confidence to be seen and to use your voice.
Yes.
That I think I was very good at that early in my career. I could identify who were the people that could make decisions, and that if I was seen in front of them, that it was very well a good thing to be known.
Yes.
That also helped me. Yeah.
I think the interesting thing with that though is everyone sees the boss, and people, when they don't understand how to actually create that personal brand, they just go, there's the boss, I need to talk to them. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's where you can get in trouble, because it's not always about that one key player who makes the decision. Mm-hmm. Like, I remember when I got my start in the news after an internship. That's how I got it. Like, the news director called me and he was like, would you like a job? And which is quite, that's quite uncommon in the news. Not uncommon, I mean, it's a hard industry to get into. Yeah. But I remember that what set me apart, and I was told this, was that I talked to everyone. When I was interning, of course, you want to be a reporter, but I spoke to the producers, I spoke to the editors, I spoke to the graphics people, I spoke to the cameramen, the chief of staff, I spent my time chatting to each person, and I think that was the start of building who they thought I was. And I think that that's what people need to remember, is that your personal brand isn't just what you're posting online, it's how people feel around you, how you're talking to them, what they take away from your interaction. So I wanted to be known as a hard worker, someone who is inquisitive, someone who, was a kind, nice person. Yeah. And so how do I do that? I talk to everyone, I stay late, I ask for more tasks. And I think that's really important when you're first starting out, because that's really building that foundation of who you are in other people's eyes.
Absolutely. And when you start your career, no one's looking for you to be an expert already. You're not supposed to be. They're looking for attitude. They're looking for what certain tasks or abilities do you have previously that you've done in an internship or you've learned at university, but realistically you're looking for attitude, for growth, and someone that is going to be a cultural fit. So within that as well, that's why on the flip side of not only when you're in a job, but I say to people you should always exit a role elegantly, because that also impacts your personal brand. And so you want to, as much of us, we've all had toxic bosses, we've all had terrible workplaces, and you would love to tell them all the things that go wrong. At the end of the day, it's not worth it, because if they didn't make the change when you're there, they're not going to make the change when you're gone, and they have to feel it and identify it themselves. So that's why I say you should always exit elegantly. Get offline, go and have a wine with your friends, bitch about it in a group chat, but your personal brand is the most important thing to you when you leave a company, because you never know then where you go, who's going to open a door for you, or who's going to have an introduction, or if they're going to be at the next company as well.
Yes, and I think that that's something that I find really interesting that you talk about, because nowadays there's such a culture of quiet quitting. So many people are just checked out, they don't really care anymore, their work ethic goes down the drain because they are off it. They don't care, they're sort of even scrolling for new jobs at the job that they have now. And I feel like people see that. You want these people as a reference. Why are people doing this though? I don't get it. I couldn't do that. If I hate somewhere and I want to leave, I'm leaving. I'm not going to stay there for 3 years hating life, scrolling LinkedIn, trying to find a new job. I don't know. I just why are people doing it, do you reckon?
There's two parts to it. I mean, a lot of people are burnt out right now. A lot
True.
of people, basically where it came from is during the pandemic. When I actually reached burnout, it took me 2 years to recover. I created what was called the 3 cups. And it was really for me to have a bit of balance. You have your career cup, you have your self cup, and then you have your human connection. And the career cup is what makes you money, your job,
yes.
your career. Your self cup is all the things that make you you. It's the Pilates class, it's going to the gym, it's if you love pottery, it's all those things that you love to do that are you things.
Yes.
If you're in a sporting team, any of those. And then your human connection, right? Because at the end of the day, humans want to connect with humans.
Yeah.
When we came out of the pandemic, everyone's career cup was absolutely overflowing because you couldn't do the things that you wanted to do, and you couldn't also see the other people around you. So that quiet quitting came out because the career cup was over full, but it was also because we didn't have the balance. So for a lot of people, for myself, yes, I did leave workplaces after the pandemic and I moved on. But I actually do say to people, are you burnt out from the actual job, or do you not have a balance in your life? So that balance also very much impacted the quiet quitting. As we then move through, right now, young people are definitely looking at the system and then going, wow, the system that we all bought into is not it. And what I do say to people is, the thing is, the system is broken. But the benefit is, the system is broken, which means there are other avenues to get into it. We've never seen such an opportunity for career pivots to change, to use transferable skills and get into new industries that before you'd be like, oh, I've got to, so one of my neighbours, she's 100. She turned 100 the other day.
Wow.
Absolute queen. And she told me that it took her 6 years of studying at night to then get her degree to then go and be a teacher.
Yes.
So many of us now, we have the ability to upskill a lot quicker and through transferable skills, right? So we have the ability to move into new roles, which is a great opportunity because it means as the system only has one path in, now there's multiple. But on the flip side of that, quiet quitting also is one of the biggest things that will kill companies. So as someone like in my company, we actually do a lot of leveling up and training with people because quiet quitting is what will impact a business from achieving its goals. Realistically, it's not anything other than the people, because you can have the greatest plan that you want to get to by 2030, but if you don't have the people to get there, you're not going to. So on the flip side as well, as industries change, technology advances, AI comes in, it's also on the companies to upskill their workers for them to remain hireable, for them to stay engaged, and for them to want to grow. So it's a bit of a flip side. So I definitely see there's a few factors that come into it as well. Some things that we can take on, some things we can see that's happening in society, but then also what businesses can do to level up their employees to keep them hireable, make them engaged, and kind of move them through as we're all moving in a new digital landscape.
And I feel like the career upskilling is so important because that's really building your brand equity. Like as a person, that is really meaning that I am able to take those skills wherever I go. And I think that's why it's so important to really focus on your personal brand, because it's like no matter what, even if you hate this job, even if it's not the job that you want as your end goal, like it all leads you somewhere. You know, like I will always be like, yeah, you think about all of the times that have shaped you and given you these experiences, given you this expertise. And I think career development and professional development is so important, but people don't take it. I feel like people are a bit scared of it, or like maybe companies don't want to level people up because then they can ask, then they know how to ask for a raise, then they know how to advocate for themselves. But like, how can people actually advocate for themselves to get that professional development, money, course, whatever? Like, how do you think that works?
A few ways into it. First of all, I very much strongly live by the saying that you should treat your people well enough to stay, train them well enough to leave. Train them well enough to leave, treat them well enough to stay. That they want to stay there as well. That's a really big part of it as well. And then also on that, a lot of people are like, oh, but if all our people build personal brands, they're going to go elsewhere. If they're unhappy, they're going to leave regardless.
Yes.
That is the other part of it
Yes.
too. So from a business perspective, the data shows that like 98% of businesses, their biggest worry is staff retention right now. But especially from in my industry, when we're working with marketers, is that like 2/3 of them, they want to actually upskill to remain hireable as well. So closing that gap, it's like not necessarily about your companies go, oh, but like we're going to lose our best people. Those best people are going to leave regardless because the opportunities are not there. But if you actually train them up and give them those opportunities where they are, they will stay. That's not the threat. It's the fact that everyone else that then coasts because they don't see any of that you will not move forward because you don't have the rest of the team.
Yes.
People that are ambitious are going to go and get a new job regardless. But having said that, on the flip side, businesses should actually invest into the L&D because it actually increases their ROI of a team member. So this is what I always say to people is that you should be looking for the L&D that you go for in your business and you should pitch it to your boss.
Yes.
The reason that is also really important to do is because say that they're investing $80,000 in your salary and you find something that's a $500 thing or $1,000 course or even like $2,000, they're already in the ROI of you for 80 grand. You find something that's worth $1,000, that's just going to increase their opportunity of what they have with you.
Yes.
Because then they can also then go, okay, wow, if they're going to get the benefits out of this, what could that grow with? So a lot of it as well is that companies have L&D budgets and they're willing to spend and invest in their people, but they don't know what to tell you to do. So I had so much career advancement. Like I literally done everything. I've done leadership training, I've done in-platform training, I've done technical training, and every single time I found it and I would go, this is how I found this course, it's going to improve my role here. Or you can say, we are talking about this other thing that we want to do. This role is going to allow me to be the person to have the skills to do that, which means you're growing and growing and growing. Because if you do that and you can look at your next career advancement and the next role you want to go for, say you're at a coordinator level and you want to go to a specialist level, and it's like these three things are the things that you don't have a lot of skill set in, go and find the L&D in that. Because if you then do that, they're going to get better value for the role that you're in now. But then when it comes to going for a specialist role, you can pitch to them and go, cool, I was here, I want to get to that. I've done all these things to get there, and it becomes a no-brainer. So I think for a lot of things in your career, it's like when we run a business, we think about business cases and we think about pitches and proposals. You should be thinking about that in your career as well, and think of yourself as a product and that you're selling you. I think as women, it's very easy to not do that because sales feels slimy, self-promotion feels slimy. But realistically, if you don't promote yourself, then who's going to?
Exactly. You've been talking a lot about that when you're in that middle stage of your career. But when we're first starting, I think that's the real opportunity to make sure that you are building at that solid foundation. And I think for me, there are a couple of like hot takes that I feel like really build your personal brand and your work ethic. For me, I think that is respecting authority. And I feel like that one can be a little bit controversial because I don't think that you should be given respect based on the fact that you've been there for 10 years. I think that you should earn it. But I think that there should be a level of respect as soon as you start a new job in terms of the people around you. I think that it's really important not to have conversations in the wild, like tough conversations. I think that there's something really strong about being able to control yourself and then take the conversation when everyone's cooled down into a closed door space. I think it's really important to not be the loudest person as soon as you start. Like people want to come in and you want to have personality, but I think that there's something so good about coming in and actually sort of scoping out what is happening and then slowly bringing yourself into conversations. And I think one of the biggest things that can make a difference for me when people say to me, you know, I want to speak up, I want to actually have an opportunity to have my voice heard in meetings or whatever, like when you're first starting out, for me, that can be agreeing with something that someone else at the table has said. You don't have to come in straight away and be like, this is my opinion, I'm dominating the conversation, blah, blah, blah. Like to get your foot in the door of being part of those conversations, you can just be like, I heard what so-and-so said, I really agree with that. I feel like that's the perfect way to get in, to sort of build that reputation of yourself within a business. How do you build on that then? I feel like you've done that really well throughout all of your career pivots, your career steps. How do you build? Do you agree with any of those things? Do you want to build on that?
So with the first one of respecting authority, 100%. So it's actually called managing up.
Oh.
And learning about managing
There's a
up.
real thing. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it is a thing.
Yeah.
So it's called managing up. And a lot of that is that when you come into a new place, you want to have that eagerness and that willingness to learn.
Yeah.
Managing up then means that identifying that realistically the manager that you're working for, they're busy, they've got all things going on. Managing up is giving that visibility of the things that you're doing.
Yes.
So I once had a manager, I was working in a global tech company. He was in Canada, I was in Australia. 7 a.m. for me was 5 p.m. for him.
That's hard, yes?
We couldn't be in meetings together. He had no idea what was going on in Australia. And we definitely had a barrier of trying to break through of him needing to know what's going on and me not feeling micromanaged. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to manage this up. I was like, realistically, if I put myself in his shoes, he just needs to have awareness of what's going on around. So I would give him a wrap up. I'd just send him an email of the day and be like, this is what's happened. We had recordings of meetings. These are the meetings that I had. And then at the end of the week on my Friday, I would go, here's everything that's happened last week. Here's everything that I'm doing next week. And it just gave him visibility. And he knew because I was able to identify that. So I think a really big thing early on is, yes, it's the respect piece as well, but that level of transparency and that ability to have visibility upwards and then go, these are all the things that we're doing. They're going to go, oh, okay, because they've got a million things going on. And then what you actually said in terms of also not needing to be the loudest in the room, absolutely. Absolutely as well. And when you're starting out, you also then want to grow and build off someone else's point as well. So
Yes.
someone might go this, and this, and then you go, yeah, I really agree with that. What about if we look at X? But
Yes.
realistically, when you come into a business, the first few weeks, whether or not it's starting your career or you're coming in and you're scoping it out, you just want to listen to everyone else, because you don't want to come in and have opinions and go, you're wrong, it's this.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a great book called The First 90 Days, and
Yeah.
it's literally about the first 90 days in your career. And well, in a new job, sorry.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is that how can you listen to others? How can you listen to their pain points? Because the only way you will infiltrate and change a organization or drive change is to know what's in it for them.
Yes.
You have to identify what's in it for them. You will then, through that, by listening to others, you will go, okay, where does everyone's role fit? Say you were coming in, like for me, a lot of it was really digitizing businesses. So I needed to see who was on board with that, who wasn't on board with that, and see where I could kind of ease that way through. So that definitely helped as well of doing it like that.
But you talked about the fact, like right at the start, you have to identify who the key stakeholders are in terms of your career progression. How did you identify who they were, and how did you start building that connection with them, that relationship? Like, I think that it's so important having those coffee room chats where it's like you can build a personal relationship with them rather than just being like, you know, you are sending that email where it's like, these are the things that I've hit, this is how like I'm going in terms of what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. But I think it's so important to have that, like, how's your dog? Yeah. How's your...
I was going to say the exact
you know,
same. Yeah,
and I think people don't think about that.
Yeah.
Like, and that makes a big difference in building those relationships, because that's how they're going to see you, and then you're going to come front of mind when an opportunity comes up.
Yeah, you want to find like little commonalities between even as well if like you're working with clients. Like when I have a bit of a client file whenever I work with someone, and especially if it's externally as well, and I'll take note and I'll be like, they have this type of dog, they go for this like footy team, they have kids, they work by here, they play this sport, and I deliberately have that. So then when we get on a call, I'd be like, how was blah blah blah? Oh, you renovated your house, how's it going?
I actually do this when I network too, because I'm like, if I want them to, like, if I want to have a good relationship with them down the track, I know that that's going to set it apart.
Yes.
Remembering little details.
Yes.
That's so funny. I thought I was creepy for doing that.
No, well, I think it's also just like, it allows a two-way human conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, think of it within yourself. Like, you don't want to only have your only conversation as just like you're talking at someone. And like a manager wants to then understand a little bit more about you. You can have something in common and those kind of little things as well.
But I wouldn't be talking about going out every weekend and getting drunk and stuff. No, none of that. It's more like the work-friendly conversation.
It's definitely something that, like, the ability of being in the office, you also really understand office structures. You understand how people talk in meetings. You understand the candor of other people. Like, especially for me, like, I was very much like a talker. I'm a bit of like a golden retriever type. And so you'll be in like a meeting with like two other senior men that are negotiating something, and you just learn when they do an awkward silence.
Yeah.
When they shut up, and you're like, okay, we shut up here.
Yes.
So I think there's an element of understanding how other people work, because it is a professional setting. So it's not that you need to be a different version of you, but you identify what parts of you show at work, because you want to then also keep some things that are for you as well that you do outside of work. So yeah, the networking piece is absolutely huge. At the end of the day, managers are people. Like, they are human beings as well. Like, they have stories, they have things going on in their life. They're always going to connect if you can have a little bit more of a conversation rather than just like feeling like, oh my God, I found you. Oh my God, these are all the things they're doing. Like, whoa, you know, like you want to have that ambition, but also just like keep it a little bit like,
Yes. Okay, LinkedIn. I don't know. I don't think it works for me. I don't know what to do. I feel like people are either amazing on LinkedIn or they're not.
Yeah.
People are either like, sometimes I just get DMs from all these random people being like, buy my product, come in, I'm a teacher, blah, blah. And I'm just like, that shouldn't be the opening message. I don't care, delete, you know, and then they follow up, just making sure that you got my message. And I'm like, bro, I didn't reply because I don't care, you know.
Yeah.
Do we need it? What are we doing on it? Please tell me.
Yeah. So
I feel like you're a LinkedIn queen, so.
There's actually a few absolute non-negotiables that you need to do on LinkedIn.
Okay, yes.
Absolute non-negotiables. So everyone thinks that headhunted is something that you get done because you're a big celebrity. No. The biggest thing that people are sleeping on and being headhunted for roles is actually through LinkedIn. So if you are a recruiter, they use like a recruiter backend, like CRM system, right, of LinkedIn, and say that they're like, I am looking for a marketing coordinator who lives in Melbourne, who's got 3 years of experience. They're
Yep.
going to go on a LinkedIn and go, pull me everyone who's a marketing coordinator in LinkedIn with 3 years experience. If your profile's not up to date, they can't find you. Like, that's the
Yes.
easiest way. So step 1 is that your LinkedIn needs to be updated.
Yep.
It needs to have what you're doing, what your background is, what experience that you have as much as possible to be literally found by recruiters
Yes.
who are on there as well.
Yes.
The second one is that employers are looking at LinkedIn now as well. They're
Oh.
going there. Yeah, they're having a bit of a review. Like, it's kind of like when I entered the market, it was everyone would go and like check your Facebook profile. I feel like people don't do that as much now.
True.
But they are going to LinkedIn to see if it looks professional. Do you have some pieces of work that you can do as like outstanding things that you've done on there and stuff as well? Like, I randomly once did a keynote to the Singapore government.
Did you?
Yeah, I got one of the highest ratings. So, like, obviously
Love.
that's on my LinkedIn.
Yes.
So when I got headhunted, that was on there.
True. Something
So-
that sets you apart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely the number one is you have to have an up-to-date LinkedIn profile
Yes.
so you can be found.
Yep.
Because there is a lot of roles that are doing that. The
Yep.
second one is more and more businesses now are actually giving referral bonuses and are actually taking referrals over people they don't know. So basically, people are getting employees. You will get a bonus if you refer someone and they get the job. I know people that it's been about $1,500. I've had people that have messaged me and told me it's a good like 15 grand. Yeah.
Is this a new market that I should get into? Referrals? Oh, okay.
Well, as the average cost of like hiring someone increases, about like over 30 grand now is the average cost to hire someone new.
Really?
The biggest opportunity is to go for someone that someone knows, and they can go, yes,
Yes.
this person is that a good idea. So the ability to be able to build your network on LinkedIn is it. So LinkedIn is the complete opposite of TikTok. You could have 5 followers on TikTok, post a TikTok, and it gets put into this category of this conversation, and it goes viral, and you could get like 1 million views, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
I only had like 5 followers. LinkedIn doesn't work like that. If you post on LinkedIn and it only then shows to the people that follow you, if they then engage, then it goes and shows the people who engage into their network and so on and so on and so on. So then LinkedIn is a networking building platform. So once you have your up-to-date profile, at a minimum, you want to add everyone that's in your network. Anyone that you meet, your colleagues, your clients, you want to meet them, you want to add them on LinkedIn, you want to grow your network. That is like literal basis, step 1.
Yep.
Then the more that you're actually doing that, say that you're wanting to get a little bit more visibility, if you're not confident in posting it, comment on others. Comment 3 to 5, but really good comments.
Okay.
So with the comments on LinkedIn, that will show up in someone else's newsfeed like it's a post. So you'll actually see your comments on LinkedIn now will show the impression number.
Yes.
Because you will be able to see how many impressions that had got.
Oh.
So you can start to comment on others, show your perspectives, have an opinion, and build those things. And then right now, community is huge. Like right now, people, it's the intersection between the online to the offline. There's so many awesome communities and awesome abilities to meet with others. If you really want to take networking seriously and grow it, Australia is so easy. And I really say to people, like, if you have a personal brand online, you are 1 degree of separation from anyone that you want to meet.
Yes, I agree with that.
1 degree of separation. We are a small place, but the best thing is 1 degree. I reckon I've met a lot of the people that post really regularly and comment like on LinkedIn in marketing. I've already met them through LinkedIn. And then we go to events and they know who you are. It's like you're
True.
not cold calling yourself. You go somewhere and someone recognizes you. So then if you want to take that seriously, you start connecting with others, you're adding them onto that, then you go to events, you'll see a community event, you can connect with others there, you can start to do some posts. And that then might at the beginning be about what you're seeing in the industry or your common take on something or a campaign that you've done or any of those kind of things that people really start to like it. So it depends on the level that you want to take LinkedIn to as well. I run a company now. We use LinkedIn a lot. LinkedIn is really huge for our business as well because we're in a B2B business.
Yes.
So it is absolutely phenomenal for us to build our LinkedIn. We then built our newsletters to Substack for long form. And then that's how I've gotten speaking gigs. I've been on podcasts and we've had clients literally direct from LinkedIn. But I was redundant in 2022. I left and went to the dream jobs. 5 months later, we were gone. And I remember they said, oh, we're going to contact clients and like tell them about the layoffs. And I was like, oh my God, like everyone of where I'd been is going to find out that I was redundant. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to own the narrative. I'm going to own it. It was when it was really early days of redundancy. So it was a little bit like, not many of us in Australia had actually ever seen a layoffs. We'd never seen redundancy. So I was like, nah, I'm going to own it.
Yep.
So there was an article about saying there was layoffs. So I just went onto LinkedIn and I did a post and I was like, this is what's happened. I'm going to take some time to reflect, work out what my next move is. My LinkedIn went gangbusters. I had people coming out of everywhere. I had people that I'd interviewed with being like, if you need a reference, we regret that we didn't hire you that one time. Everywhere. And how did I get headhunted? LinkedIn.
But I think that really shows, like, this ties it in perfectly, because I feel like that really shows the power of your personal brand.
Yeah.
Not even online, your personal in-person brand.
Right.
The fact that people were then reaching out being like, I remember you from X amount of years ago. We really liked your vibe, your work ethic, like who you are, your communication style, like that personal brand.
Yes.
And that's perfect. And so I feel like, that is a full circle moment for us, hey?
Well, for us as people, it's literally the exact same as when we market products. So I run this keynote that I do, and our business is in marketing and marketing strategy, and then we're building AI tech. Within that, we actually tell people, and I was like, if you were to buy a suitcase today, do you have 2 to 3 brands in mind right now that you're going to go on Google?
Probably.
Yeah.
Do I have to tell you what they are? Okay,
but
good.
You've got a brand in mind. You're like, I'm going to go and check that out. Don't
Yes,
you?
yes.
2 to 3. That's called your consideration set.
Yes.
Every single person, whenever there's any decision you need to make, you will have 2 to 3 brands in mind.
Yes.
Brands, people, service providers, where you go. So right now, when it comes to that, you're just trying to build the consideration set and be top of mind in your career. So if we all do that in products, then if someone goes, we really need to hire a new marketing coordinator, or we really need to get a project manager, or we need to fill that role, then they're going to go, I remember that person that I met at that event, or I remember that person that I saw on LinkedIn, I remember that person with this. And you're just top of mind. So
Top of mind.
you meet them in person, they have a great experience with you, they love working with you, and next minute you're on LinkedIn and they're just seeing you regularly and you're more top of mind again.
Yes.
So for me, like when I launched my business last year, whenever anyone leaves corporate to launch their business, your early clients are always going to be people that have worked with you. So as soon as I put on LinkedIn, all the people that hired me straight away is people that had worked with me.
Yes.
Because I'd been, like some of them, we were literally marketing assistants.
Yes.
Like 9 years ago. And then one of them, he was the CMO in a huge company. So then he was like, what's up? I was like, hey.
Stunning.
And we popped straight in. So that's where it's like LinkedIn just gave the opportunity for that. But
Yes.
the personal brand had been 9 years in the making.
Yes, and I think that's like, it's a long-term strategy, it's a long-term goal, but honestly, you have inspired me to go and post on LinkedIn. I'm going to go home and like just write something. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm now inspired to do it. So thank you so much for your time today. I
you're so
appreciate
kind.
it.
Thanks for having me.
Yay! Okay, I feel like I got so much out of that chat. I honestly could have spoken to Kim on so many other topics and spent like 2 whole days talking to her about everything. But I think the takeaway question for me is thinking about the coffee run test. You know, how are people going to describe you or talk about you while getting a coffee when you're not there? And so when you're thinking about doing that coffee run test on yourself, be brutally honest. Like, what are people actually going to be thinking and saying about you behind your back? If you do want to level up as well, I would think about, you know, what qualities or what would you say about a good manager or leader, and then sort of work back from there to make sure that that's how people will describe you in the future. If you did like this, make sure you subscribe, like, follow, comment, all the good things, and otherwise I will see you again soon.